welcome to another episode here on the Cavalier Family Show podcast. You name us, we got you. Whatever you want to call us, we'll be your daddy. Anyways, so welcome to the Cavalier Family Show. Here on the show, a lot of you are already familiar, where every month we choose a different year, and every week is the top 5 TV shows, music, movies, and cartoons. Obviously, every week is a different subject. So this week, of course, progressing through the actual show itself, shows. Next week, cartoons. Week after that, music, and obviously movies, leaving out the last. We would like to first and foremost thank Kevin Holmes and Justin Dye, who did a lot of the musical elements as well as visual elements too for many of our videos here and intros. We'd like to thank, of course, Stephen Dawson, who has assisted with research in the past. And of course, this week, Kevin, the gentleman below me, if you are looking on video, actually assisted with this week's show and research for 1955. I am thankful that he chose that year because, of course, researching back in those time periods, you can't find shit on anything. So to level out the stress field, he's like, you know what? I got you. Let me take this one. And I mean, I could have told him, I could have warned him, but I didn't. So with that, he did the research. So obviously we'd like to thank Kevin for the research. Ro is back with us, who is actually on my right side here. Glad to have him back.
Hello.
God. There are no updates as of right now, other than, of course, a new video. It's a new segment that we started called Dad Jokes, where what we do is we go out to whether if it's malls, fairs, what have you, and tell some dad jokes. If you get a laugh, fantastic. If you give us a laugh, then you may get a sticker, may get a shirt. All we would like for you guys to do is, of course, support us. And with that in mind, what we'll do is we'll, of course, you know him, you loved him, you've missed him. Let's give it up for Ro. And how are you doing today?
Hey, what's up, man? Nothing much. Just did a full move, so I'm all done with that. I know times have been like kind of weird because I've always also been in therapy lately, so it's kind of been like an awkward timing for for me to be on the show, and then I get home late, in other words, to make a long story short. So, I mean, I changed my dates around, so now I can be back on more often.
Well, glad to have you, as many individuals have missed you, myself included. And then, of course, if we look to the bottom of the screen, we have Mr. Kevin. Kevin, how are you doing?
That's me. Hey, how's it going, guys? Good. My wife's a therapist. I'll throw you in for free, man. I got you. No big deal. I don't let her therapize me, but that's okay.
Hey, it's already being paid for, so
oh hell yeah,
I'm not coming out of pocket.
There you go. She'd charge you an arm and a leg. I'm gonna be honest with you. She's ruthless. She's ruthless. She tries to get that paper. Is that what we say it nowadays? Is that what we call get that paper? Yeah, money. I don't know.
Money, paper,
whatever.
Bread.
I don't know. Bread. It's so weird. So weird.
Gotta get that bread.
I get it.
All right, gentlemen. So you guys ready to hop back in time to 1955?
I've been there for a while now already, and I'm not ready to go back. But let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't really think 1955 was a good year for me.
I made it work.
All right.
1955 it is.
Back in time.
And here we are sitting in 1955. If you're wondering, I actually have a different setup right now. I actually have a camera right in front of me, where a different angle where you guys aren't looking at me going down. It's always going up. In the meantime, all the research is down. So if you see my head go down, it's because I'm reading you guys off the information. As said before, this week is the top TV shows. The information comes from the TVRatingsGuide.com. The other informational pieces comes from IMDb. Some of the honorable mentions for those TV shows back in the day was December Bride, You Bet Your Life, Dragnet, The Millionaire. When doing your research, is that anything ties to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
No,
Okay.
it really is not. There was a lot of things that I thought was like, man, this sounds familiar. And then I did my research, and these are just shows. These are a lot of one-offs. There were so many one-offs back then because we had the major three: CBS, ABC, and
NBC.
NBC. Yeah. So it was like, boom, you get a pilot with 3 shows and then they'd get rid of it, and then they'd start with something new. The Millionaire was just about a millionaire. Like I can't even make that up. That's exactly what it was about.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The other ones are I've Got a Secret, and probably, I mean, it's not really the lamest, though it's very lazy TV show, General Electric Theater.
Yes. In my research with General Electric Theater, it was literally a show put on by the company General Electric, and they would go over older movies, and then they would talk about it is very confusing. I don't know how people watch TV back then. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Probably not. Well,
Probably not much.
yeah. Well, back in those days, I mean, you still had kids playing outside versus today.
That's true. That's true.
So stickball and all the other great pastimes. So let's see here. It looks like, as far as the top 5 goes, number 1 is a TV show called The $64,000 Question. It was on CBS. The score was 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, and the series ran from 1955 to 1958. The creators, obviously, CBS Entertainment Productions. Among the most influential of the big money quiz shows and the undisputed king of the genre of the 1950s, contestants answered questions in a specific field in the attempt to win $64,000. The host was Jeffrey Hollard, Tarzan from the TV series. The show was simulcast on the radio. So I'm guessing that they probably spoke through the radio too, like it was both TV show
at the exact same time. Yep.
Okay, that's cool.
People who didn't have TVs, I guess, would just watch it. I mean, listen to it via
Listen
radio.
to it. Yeah, just like the Spirit back in the days and the Lone Ranger and stuff like that. Yeah.
And like in many cases too, like sports, like UFC is another one where they just listen to commentators and stuff like that too.
Sure.
Yeah.
It looks like the first $64,000 winner was Captain Tom McCutcheon.
Yeah.
Cutcheon?
Yeah, to that, I don't know, old people names, you know what I'm saying? So it was an interesting show. The show, the premise was you would come on and you answer a series of questions to get yourself up to $1,000. The first question was worth $64. That's how it started off, right off the bat. And then you would answer 5 questions to get yourself up to $1,000, and then you would wait until next week to come back and do it again. And they would put you in a sound chamber while they went over various aspects of the show and questions with the audience and with the television audience as well. And then they had a huge riff with the thought of people cheating on the game show. And it kind of just, it put a black mark over the TV show, and then it ended up kind of going away after that. I don't know how, it's not like we had Google to be able to check on answers or anything nowadays. I think they were doing it. I think they thought people were getting these answers to help boost ratings, essentially. People winning money. People want to see that. $64,000 is a lot of money in 1955. So,
well,
yeah,
shit, it's a lot of money now.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. That's like winning the sweepstakes back then, So, it was yesteryear's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. That's really what it was.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, except that you can't phone a friend or 50-50 question.
You gotta rotary dial them, so it takes a little minute, connect to an operator and all that stuff. So
that's fair.
Catch you next episode. Airtime is expensive right now.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah. 10-10-220. You got to dial. What is that?
It looks like number 2 is I Love Lucy. This aired on CBS. It got a 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb. The series ran from 1951 to 1957. The creator, writer Bob Carroll Jr., the wife, and it's about the wife of a brand leader consistently tries to become a star in spite of her having no talent. Kind of sounds like me, and gets herself, along with her best friend, into the funniest predicaments. The wife of a band leader constantly tries to become a star in spite of her having no talent. What was that?
So there's Kevin with his first typo of the whole thing. See, that's why we need proofreaders. I might have put the same thing in there twice. Rookie move, boys. Rookie move.
But hey, it's your first time doing it. You have no idea on how bad. I mean, Ro will tell you some stories between my mush mouth and other situations where on while recording, of course, he'll be like, "Wait, this is 1961. Aren't we supposed to be doing like 2008?"
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
That we are.
I don't think I made that mistake, so I'm good on that.
It starred Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, Vivian Vance, and William Frawley. Desi Arnaz invented the rerun during the pregnancy episode of the series by replaying some episodes and changed some of the scenery and lines from the first season to give Lucille Ball time to rest and start to raise their newborn son, Desi Arnaz Jr. That's actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was very interesting because if anybody didn't know, Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball were married in real life as well, as long with the show.
Yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, huge fan of the show. I grew up on it. I mean, the iconic scene with the bonbons on the conveyor belt. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about.
I think so. I think I would have to see it.
Yeah, it was her with Vivian Vance, and they're working in a chocolate factory, and the belt of bonbons, and they have to put them in a box. And she's saying, you know, keep ramping up the speed, and then it goes fast, and it's just tons of bonbons, and they're taking bonbons off the belt because if any bonbons got through, then it would be taken and deducted away from their paycheck. So all of a sudden they're taking bonbons, they're throwing them over their shoulder, they're putting them under their caps. They've got chipmunk cheeks coming out because they got bonbons full of them. So that's a good show. I thought it was always a good show. And actually they said it might have been the greatest show of all time. That's what it was talked about.
I mean, if you think about it, look at WandaVision, right?
Yeah.
Like what the first like couple of episodes were mimicked from I Love Lucy. And then of course they went to that 70s show closer to later. Because it's a 90s sitcom. I think they did Leave It to Beaver as well at one point.
They did. Yep.
So I mean, if anything, as far as nostalgia goes, or you know, anything in that realm that can be referenced to today or be utilized as a example for today, is a power player altogether.
Absolutely.
So that's, I mean, I Love Lucy is something just very much so like Betty Boop, and look how long Betty Boop has been around, and look how. It doesn't matter who you are as a woman or a man. If you love Betty Boop, it's always going to be there. And a lot of the fans who are like Betty Boop, some of it's actually coming from other family members who loved it when they were kids as well. So it just gets dropped down, and that's how, you know, legacies are created. I mean, just like last week's episode where, you know, I kind of made Kevin almost cry. It's all about leaving a legacy about, you know, who you are and be able to.
You almost cried, Kev?
Oh, I'm an emotional man.
No, I get it.
You don't know me. You
don't know. I get it.
But it's all about.
I mean, my girl almost cried on the fight scene when T'Challa, when they did the whole challenge.
Oh yeah, sure.
She and it was the first one. It wasn't even the one where Killmonger was fighting. It was the very first one.
Those Marvel movies have a hold of me, man, like personally and emotionally. So I get it 100%.
Well, you know, Mr. Stark, I don't feel good.
Oh, don't you stop that BS right now. You don't mess with me.
Oh, with the ad-libbing?
I lost a kid. I lost him.
Oh. Okay, so before it starts to be an emotional train wreck, number 3 is the Ed Sullivan Show, which actually we have discussed in Ed Sullivan. Mushmouth.
Ed Sullivan.
Thank you. The Ed Sullivan Show before in the past. Of course, it was on CBS, got a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb. Series ran from 1948 to 1971. Creators is John Moffat. The 28th Annual Primetime Emmy Awards. The classic primetime variety show, most famous for the vaudeville acts and rock music performances, starred Ed Sullivan, Johnny Wayne, Frank Schuster. From 1950 until the end of its run in 1971, the show was always broadcast in the same time slot, Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, CBS broadcast it during its entire run. Elvis made 3 appearances on the show. However, his last one, he was shot from the waist up to hide his swiveling hips, which actually you have some information here that we didn't have before as far as research goes, and the fun facts. The Elvis one, I do know that we had, it was his first appearance on TV shows. We didn't say anything about his 3 appearances, so that's a fun, interesting fact for, of course, the listeners who's heard this before, but a little additive to it. And of course, the Ed Sullivan Show, I feel, is the staple and what has been the benchmark of all, late night shows.
Absolutely.
I mean, look at the movie The Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
like
was
Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I mean, if anybody talks about any primetime talk show, it's always Ed Sullivan.
Johnny Carson. That's it.
Johnny Carson is another one. Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about that hack Jay Leno, by the way. I just want to.
Hey, wait! I was just about to say my boy Jay Leno. What's wrong with Jay Leno?
He didn't let Conan get his day, and I don't appreciate that. He can just go out and keep collecting. He can go keep collecting his cars, and I don't need to worry about Jay Leno anymore, man.
Hey.
I'm a Letterman guy anyway, so it's okay.
David Letterman was another good one.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he was kind of boring to me. That's probably just me.
Well, I mean, nowadays you have Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Right? The man who was part of The Man Show. So you have that going. Also, let's see here. It looks like number 4 was the Jack Benny program. CBS. It was on CBS. It was 8.6 out of 10 on IMDb. The series ran from 1950 to 1965. And is Kevin frozen on your side?
No, I can't see him at all. I can only see you because you're talking.
Okay, there we go.
Did he freeze up on your side?
Yeah. Like the whole time, I wasn't sure if we should just keep going.
I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know. We have a storm coming through, so I don't know if that's what happened.
It's all good.
Completely blocked me out.
It's all good. Like I said, like as I'm reading this, I wasn't sure about continuing on. So we'll go ahead and continue on. The series ran from 1950 to 1965. The creators was Frederick D. Cordova, Ralph Levy. The comic misadventures of the skinflint comedian and his friends. Jack Benny was a regular on his own radio program since 1932. He brought the program with his underplayed humor to television along with his radio regulars. Jack, who remained 39 years old, kept his money in his basement and drove his old Maxwell car, just as he had done on the radio. Most of Jack Benny's original radio cast appeared on television with him, including Don Wilson, Eddie Rochester Anderson, Dennis Day, and his real-life wife, Mary Livingstone. Made several guest appearances. In one episode, Jack dreamed that he and Mary, his platonic friend on the show, were married and had a teenage daughter. Their daughter was played by their actual real daughter, Joan Benny. That's cool.
Yeah. So essentially, this guy had his own radio program and was able to convince CBS to make his television show out of the program. And then they would also simulcast between the show and the radio at the same time as well. Just similar humor to I Love Lucy. It's very similar. Yeah. Kind of slapstick, over the top.
Cool.
Yeah.
So number 5 looks like December Bride. It aired on CBS. IMDb rating of 8.0 out of 10. The series ran from 1954 to 1959. The creator was Park Levy. Many happy returns. Is there a reason why that was in quotations? Was that his like nickname or something? You know?
Oh no, that was also one of his mainstays as a creator and writer.
Oh, okay.
Was many Happy Returns was also a big show back in the day. I assume you haven't heard of it. That's okay. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
Charming and wise Lily Ruskin. And it's about charming and wise Lily Ruskin lives with her daughter and son-in-law, who, along with her close friend Hilda Crocker. What the kind of name is that? What's your daughter's name? My daughter's name is Hilda Crocker.
Hey man, Hilda.
Hey, it could have been Betty Crocker's mom.
Actually,
not mom.
Something there.
Just relative, maybe. Ooh.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Wonder if they were white and came up with Cracker Barrel.
I gotta go.
All right.
It's time to head out.
Anyways, her close friend Hilda Crocker are always trying to find suitable, older, marriageable companionship for her, running comedy bits, including neighbor Porter's complaints about his heard but unseen wife Gladys. It starred Spring Byington, Francis Rafferty, Dean Miller, Harry Morgan, and then in parentheses, quotations, it says MASH. So I'm guessing that was maybe maiden name.
No, he was in MASH. Like that's where you would know him from.
Okay.
Yeah, he played the lieutenant. The old man. I can't remember what it.
Okay.
I forgot.
Well, that's good information.
Yeah.
The long-running half-hour CBS sitcom debuted on October 4th, 1954, and was last broadcasted on April 20th, 1961, mostly remembered today for featuring neighbor Harry Morgan as Peter Porter, who complained constantly about his unseen wife, Gladys. They'd eventually get their own show as a spin-off in the fall of 1960.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then from there he moved on to MASH, where he really got all of his fame. In fact, when you saw his picture in the IMDb, it was his picture from MASH. It was not from December Bride or from Gladys, the spinoff.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. That is the full complete list of the top 5 TV shows of 1955. If you like this episode, please stay tuned to next week's episode where we discuss the top 5 cartoons of 1955 as well. Majority of those are rememberable too. I personally remember some. Let's see if you guys remember some as well. And as always, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Follow us on all social platforms. The link to the merchandise store is also up down below in the description as well. Show us some love, even if it's purchase a sticker. Doesn't matter. Support means more than money. So there you have it, folks. We'll see you guys next week.